Hello, Walker County. Thank you for joining us for this segment of Smart Growth Walker County. I'm Larry Brooks. Today we're going to be joined by Ryan Cox. He is a local business owner that is actually doing some great humanitarian outreach at home and abroad. And so we're excited about being able to share with you what it is that he's doing right here in Walker County. And again, it's our pleasure to be able to offer this service to you. Again, we hope that you will enjoy this information. And again, we thank you for being with us. Hello, Walker County. Thank you for joining us for this edition of Smart Growth Walker County. Today I'm joined by Ryan Cox. He is a entrepreneur here in Walker County. We're very proud of what Ryan has been able to accomplish. Some of you folks that maybe you teach or you're involved in some of the local school systems, you are probably familiar with Ryan. He does a lot of aquaponics and does a lot of great things with the school system, and so we're so pleased to have him with us. He's going to talk a little bit about some of the wonderful things that he's involved in, and we're going to learn a little bit about his business. I know he's located here in Rossville and doing some great things, and so we wanted to bring some spotlight to him. And so Ryan, thank you so much for being with us.
Well, Larry, thank you very much for having us on and letting us share a little bit of our story with you and Walker County. It's our pleasure to be here, and again, we appreciate the invitation.
Well, let me give you a little bit of background. Ryan actually came in to the county. What year was that? It was
2012.
2012. So what, we're 4 years, maybe pretty getting kind of close, 3.5 or so.
Yeah, we're like 3 years, 9 months or something like that.
Ryan was actually looking at opportunities to set up this idea that he had, and had initially had reached out to some different locations in the area, and he was able to make contact with Commissioner Haskell. Yep. And the commissioner had asked him to come and talk with us and see if we could lend a hand in what he was doing. And so we were actually able to do that. And so he's doing some wonderful things. And of course, we're going to get to all those in just a bit. But Ryan, first of all, I know that there's probably a lot of people that are out there wondering about what's aquaponics all about. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Okay, so well, aquaponics, simply put, is the combination between hydroponics and aquaculture. Mm-hmm. You take the same principles of growing hydroponic food and you combine that with the growing of fish, mm-hmm. and you use the water from the fish to fertilize plants, and you use the plants to clean the water for the fish in a balanced ecosystem. So it's a truly simple system that works in nature the same way it would in a commercially scalable operation like we have. So we grow fish, tilapia, catfish, bass, bluegill, all types of fish. And then we raise vegetables with the wastewater. And because we use that water so many times, we're actually getting about 90% more output than traditional agriculture on the same amount of water. Or simply put, we use 10% of the water of traditional ag. So we're a water intensive, very water conservation. We have a lot of water conservation pieces that we work with to provide food solutions for populations in distress, whether that be here in Georgia or in locations around the world.
And now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know that it is not a perfect closed system, because I know that you guys have to introduce, more water down the road as far as
Sure.
the process is concerned, because of evaporation, things like that. But when you talk about water conservation, I mean, this is something that you guys are really masters at, as far as being able to loop that back into the system. And,
yes.
and so what's so interesting about this, and of course, I know that some of the viewers will probably have a bit of an idea as to how something like this works, but I know that when we began the conversation, of course, you had a real desire to want to try to help distressed communities, especially
Yes.
those places maybe within the third world that was having very difficult as far as being able to produce food or even get their hands on food.
Right.
And so a lot of those communities, are communities that really don't have the same access to water and maybe other materials that we would have. And so it's a perfect solution for that. Talk to us a little bit about, now we'll get into some of the things that you do with the school system here in just a little bit, but talk to us a little bit about what you guys are doing in the different areas. I know that we discussed that you were on 5 different continents right now.
Yes, sir. Well, so being in Walker County, we actually have a property that didn't have access to water.
Yeah.
So it gave us the opportunity to really research solutions that were strictly conservationist when it came to water usage. So at HATphonics, we use our water, every drop of it, at least 3 times. And by having that intensive level of necessity just to achieve success here in Walker County, we were able to export that technology and export that ideology of severe water conservation so that we'd be able to provide these populations that we're working with abroad real-time solutions that weren't going to be water intensive.
Sure.
You have droughts happening all over the planet. You've got desert populations that have limited access to water. You've got, well, even in the United States, we have these same issues. I mean, heck, I'm praying for rain right now.
I was thinking
Right?
the very same thing as you're
Hashtag rain harder. So it's just as applicable here in the U.S. as it is abroad. But we are working, for example, in India. We're in 5 cities in India currently, and every one of those cities is right smack across the middle, from the state of Goa all the way on the far eastern side or the far western side, all the way to Calcutta on the far eastern side.
Wow.
And these populations are water-stricken, water-starved. They're basically living in a fully arid climate, so there's sand and it's hot, and it's really difficult for them to find access to clean water and then sufficient quantities of clean water to produce agricultural.
Yeah.
And so that lack of an agricultural program can cripple a nation. If something were to happen to the United States in the middle of the breadbasket, or right here in the South in our agricultural community, or in California, where we are experiencing drought conditions, it could hurt us.
Sure.
And so the next wave of agriculture is really driving towards using what we have more often and smarter.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to apply those techniques now throughout the United States and abroad to bring real-time solutions to these organizations. So the school systems we're working with in Calcutta, for example, are now feeding students on the same water that they put into the system last year, versus over and over and over again having to go out and water that tomato plant.
Sure. And a couple points that we want to make. I know that it may sound almost unbelievable, that we're actually being able to do this, but Ryan has been able to create this and share it, and really feed large portions of the world based on the technology that you guys are working with right here in Rossville.
Yes.
They are, of course, he was talking just a little bit ago about having limited availability to water. For those of you that may not know this, we actually set Ryan up on the old practice field behind the old Rossville High School.
Yeah.
And so he has had some limitations there. But has been able to overcome those things, and it's really a wonderful success story.
Thank you.
And it's really hard to imagine that a dream like that can have such a monumental impact upon the lives of so many folks. I know that your goal has been 20 million people by 2020.
That's correct. We're going to feed 20 million people by 2020, and the obstacle of no water that we faced in Walker County actually led to us being better at it.
Yeah,
So it was part of the choice of that. We knew that we'd have to overcome it, and while it would have been easy in the beginning, we would have run into that same hardship abroad.
Sure.
And I'd rather deal with it here in Georgia than deal with it in middle of nowhere, Honduras or Nicaragua.
You're trying to set the things up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but I am proud to announce that that facility in Rossville, Georgia, now hosts the world's first portable farm. It is C-130 aircraft deliverable. It can drop out of the sky, literally drop out of a farm that falls from the sky, versus us shipping them stuff. We just send them a farm and they can grow their own.
And so what you're doing is you're taking that container, that sea container,
Yes.
and placing everything in that a person would need to get this thing up and going.
Exactly.
It's very impressive.
Thank you.
Well, let's turn the page just a little bit because we want to make sure that we get enough time to get this in as well. Because with all the humanitarian stuff that you guys are doing, it's very interesting that you've been able to at least, I guess, assign a portion of your business to really working with local school systems.
Most assuredly.
Yeah, here with, of course, Walker County is one, but I know that you're working in lots of different systems here in Georgia and also in Southeast Tennessee as well.
Sure. Actually, we are working with schools from New Jersey to Florida.
Oh, fantastic.
We're involved in over 1,000 school systems, and there are 400 to 600 installations operational at any given time in our system.
Yeah.
And the idea behind that was also out of necessity, because the groups we work with internationally oftentimes have no greater than a 4th or 8th grade education.
Wow.
And if you're at all like myself, I forgot half of what I learned, so if I only made it to the 8th grade, I had to build it to the 4th grade. So we use the school systems here in the United States to actually engineer these systems so that they can actually be taught by students to these international communities with which we're trying to affect.
Yeah.
And so we've had a lot of success doing that. A lot of innovation comes from the minds of babes, right? And just great ideas. In fact, I have one really great story about a school in New Jersey that we were working with a group in Uganda that was going through a fish sickness. They had black spotted fish syndrome, which I didn't even understand. And these students in New Jersey actually set up nursery tanks to solve the problem for their partner school in Uganda.
Wow.
And so because we were able to link these two school systems together in communication and talking about the problem, they were able to set up nurseries, hatcheries, solve the problem. This is 4th graders. So they were able to fix this problem for what was actually transpiring in a full-on food system in Uganda.
Yeah. Well, and of course now I say this just based upon my I guess perspective, because my wife teaches, as you know.
Yes.
They're at Gilbert Elementary in Lafayette, and so I know a lot of the probably a lot of the parents here in Walker County, they're probably familiar with their kids coming home, maybe talking about some of the things that they're doing. And so parents, if you're wondering the face behind that, Ryan has served as that contact for the school system. And
well, let it be said that Walker County's got some incredible educators.
oh, there's no doubt about it. Yes,
and administrators as well. Matt Harris alone at Gilbert is a shining example. Pete Davis at Ridgeland High School, before I even got started, was already making heavy pushes to bring this to life in Walker County through his educational institution there at Ridgeland. So it wouldn't have been possible anywhere else. And because the schools were so interested, it led our research and development to the forefront of where we're at. And I'd say we're about 7 years ahead of anybody else in our industry, and we're the only portable system in the world. So that having happened right here is basically fed by the fact that these students have such a great opportunity to start with, and then great teachers, great administrators, and a good leadership under Damon Raines.
Well, and you're spot on with that. With the real work that the school system does is very appreciated within the community. One of the things that I wanted to touch on, and again, just because we have limited time, is I know that you actually host some different, I'm calling them camps. I don't
Yes.
know if that's correct or not.
It is. We call it a STEM educator camp. HATphonics has been named the #2 STEM outreach program in the state of Georgia. And we actually work with the Georgia Department of Education to provide leadership and STEM training, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics training for educators. And what we do is we host a camp that'll simulate one of our third world humanitarian installations every year. And so we invite teachers from around the United States. This year we'll have 3 universities and 4 states represented at the camp. We limit it to 20 people. And we bring teachers and educators in to solve the real world food problems by designing a new system.
Sure.
And then they take those designs and collaborate between their educational institutions to enhance their programming. And as they enhance their programming, they make these connections globally and abroad so that they're actually able to link with our programming in foreign countries. This style camp that we've done has led us to take 10 high school seniors from Cleveland, Tennessee. We actually took them to Nicaragua, where they installed their solution directly in for the Nicaraguan population and fed 2,500 people a day.
Wow.
That are still eating today, that I might add. And then we also just came back from Swaziland, Africa, where we took 6 high school juniors and seniors from the Christian Heritage School in Dalton, and they engineered vertical axis wind turbines to power food systems for the population there. Just fantastic ability that these kids have, and it just goes to show that without the proper leadership, that would never be possible.
Sure, that's right.
So without the education system, I don't think I'd be where I am today.
Well, it's of course, and I know that we're about out of time, but as you said just a few moments ago, so often we take for granted the opportunities that we have. And, it really is a wonderful, wonderful push by our school systems to really try to really instill, I think, that type of education, because I know a lot of people, they grow up in a world today where they believe that you just go to the supermarket and you find everything.
Right.
They don't realize, the work and the conditions that have to go into raising and nurturing crops and of course, also, the fish in your case. And so it really is a wonderful program. Of course, I know that many of you probably will have more questions for Ryan. He, as he said just a few moments ago, does a lot of things with the school system. And so if you've got questions about maybe any of his camps, or maybe you've got some questions about maybe bringing him into a school, and offering his expertise, Ryan, is there a phone number that they can give you a call at? Sure.
They can reach the direct line that answers pretty much anywhere in the world at 1-800-565-HAT.
Okay. So again, for those of you that may wonder what's being done about the world conditions as far as being able to address some of the difficulties that lots of populations are experiencing. Listen, the solutions, it's happening right here in our own backyard, and so we certainly appreciate Ryan and all that he's doing. And again, Ryan, thank you for coming on and being with us.
It's my pleasure. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be in Walker County, and I'd love to share our story with anybody that would like to learn more.
Well, fantastic. So there you have it, folks. Again, we appreciate Ryan being with us. And if you have questions, just give him a call. And again, until next time, Walker County, thank you so much for joining us.